When you think of Disney movies, you probably think of cheerfulness and happy endings. Well, this movie is a little different than most Disney films. In this video, I'm going to be discussing and recapping the film Susie Q. I remember being traumatized as a child after watching this film, and I can understand why they probably don't air it on Disney Channel anymore, but that would be cool if they did. Anyways, let's get into the video. A traumatizing movie. A dark Disney movie. Let's watch a traumatizing movie, yeah! The year's 1955. Teenager Susie Q is getting ready for her winter formal. After getting all dolled up, she goes up to her grandpa's room, who tells her that he has some very important papers to give to her mother. And at this point, she's just kind of ignoring him. But anyways, she then puts him to bed and heads downstairs to get some photos taken with her date. By the way, her date looks like he's 30. I don't know why movies always cast 30-year-olds as high schoolers. But anyways, before the couple heads out, her boyfriend gives her a charmed bracelet. Then they head out. As they are driving with the music turned up, Susie tells her boyfriend to stop the car in the middle of a bridge just to talk about what her grandfather said earlier about the papers. Like, could she have just told her boyfriend to pull off the side of the road? I mean, it's dark out and there are crazy drivers out there, but whatever, it's a Disney movie, right? Anyways, this part is what traumatized me as a child. A car of drunk teens are quickly approaching them, and for some reason the boyfriend can't get his car to start. Then the drunk driver crashes into their car, causing them to slowly drive off the bridge into the water. Just a reminder, this is a Disney movie. Well, it was featured on Disney. So they're not only promoting drinking and driving, they're also showing a pretty graphic fatal accident. Like, you even see some blood on Susie Q, and this part just breaks my heart. I mean, back then it just terrified me, but now it just makes me really sad. Anyways, still conscious, she grabs her boyfriend's hand for the last time, and they unfortunately drive over the bridge and pass away. Anyways, fast forward to 1995, a family of 3 move into Susie Q's old home. So as they're moving in, the little sister sees the kitchen sink turn on by itself. She has a feeling that the home is haunted, which it definitely is. Terry tries to tell her mom and brother each about the ghost, but they just brush it off and ignore her.
There is something in this house.
Anyways, it's nighttime and Zach has a flashback of him at a basketball game, wondering where the heck his father is. For those who don't know, Zach's father passed away. The following night, Terry and Zach are fishing near the bridge where Susie Q passed away, when he reels in Susie Q's old charm bracelet, which is in somehow pristine condition. Anyways, Zach is like, "Do you want this bracelet, sister?" And she's like, "No," but he decides to keep it anyways. Later on, Zach's teacher asks his mom why Zach won't try out for the basketball team. The mom reveals that Zach's father died from a car accident on the way to his basketball game. That's why he feels so guilty about him passing away. That night, after arguing with his mom, Zach hears a girl singing the Cinderella song. He looks out his window and he sees a girl in a pink dress, which is obviously Susie Q. He rushes outside and asks if she needs any help. Confused, she says, "You can see me?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And then she introduces herself as Susie Q and runs off. The next day, Zach asks his new friend if he knew of a Susie Q. And he's like, "No, I would know if there was a new girl." After his friend walked away, an old janitor who was eavesdropping said he knew of a Susie Q years ago. He then shows Zach an old photo of her in the hallway, telling her the story of how she passed away. Zach gets really creeped out and walks away after he notices the girl in the photo is in fact the girl he talked to in the previous day. That night, Zach gets half naked, turns up some tunes, and just like stares at and admires this charm bracelet he finds, which is kind of creepy. Anyways, Susie Q creeps up behind him and says,
That's mine. Jeepers, you scared me.
So while he's arguing with Susie Q, his mom and sister walk in wondering why he's acting all weird. For some reason, neither of them see Susie Q, only Zach can. After the mom and sister leave, he tries to sleep it off. The next day, Susie Q follows Zach around school and starts to annoy Zach, so he freaks out on her. Later on, he apologizes to her, but he says he can't help her with anything, so she'll have to find someone else. That pisses Susie Q off, so she follows Zach's mom to her news reporter job. While Zach's mom is doing the weather report, Susie Q starts messing with the footage to embarrass her.
Today with gusts reaching 40 miles an hour. No! And Northern California is going to be partly cloudy.
You gotta admit, Mom's got great legs.
That night, Zach freaks out on Susie Q again and says to stay away from his family. Susie Q promises Zach if she took him somewhere, she would leave him alone afterwards. So the following morning, Susie takes Zach to a trailer park where her parents are living. Susie reveals that her parents and everyone else in the trailer park are getting kicked out because of a new housing development. That's why she needs Zach's help, to help her find those papers her grandpa mentioned on the night of her death. Anyways, Susie Q and Zach have a little heart-to-heart. They bond over stuff, and they talk about life and death, which is, once again, pretty deep stuff to be talking about when this is, like, featured on Disney Channel. So the next day, they go back to Susie Q's parents' trailer, and the father gives Zach like an old playbook, since he used to be the old basketball coach, so he takes that. While they're having a little chit chat, the bully and also the son of the man in charge of the housing development sees that Zach is talking to this couple, so he gets a little suspicious.
Call from the bank that said there was a balloon payment due on the house. If we didn't pay $25,000, we would lose it. We let my father take care of anything financial. After he died, we didn't find any papers or anything.
Susie Q is determined to find these papers and wants to look for them at the bank, but Zach says all the files are on the computer these days. In order to break into the computer, Zach tells his sister all about Susie Q, so she can help them out since, you know, she's a nerd. So at the bank, Zach and Terry help Susie enter the code to get to the files, which Susie ends up entering the wrong code, and this somehow makes money fly out of the ATM at the bank, which doesn't make any sense, but... So they end up getting the files and head home, and they find out this.
The land that the house is on, along with several hundred acres, is owned by a George Quinn. That's Susie's grandfather. Here's a map of the boundaries.
That looks like most of the town.
So apparently those weren't the actual papers they were looking for. I guess they were just doing some research at the bank. But anyways, Zach, Susie Q, and Terry discover a secret room behind the wall of Terry's closet. In this old dusty room, they find the important documents that will help Susie's parents. After finding the documents, they try to rush to the bank, but they run into some trouble along the way. The stupid bully calls one of his cop friends and tells him to pull over Zach and try to retrieve the documents.
He's got the papers!
Hey, what are you doing with those?
Evidence?
Evidence of what?
You know, young man, you're in enough trouble as it is. Now, if I were you, I'd just keep clammed up until I were spoken to. You understand?
So the father that's in charge of the demolition of the trailer park homes tells the cop to bring those two to jail so they don't bring the documents to the bank. So Susie, Terry, and Zach hatch a plan to get the heck out of the cell.
She's got powers. She can make things move, make things happen.
Told you not to bother me, kid.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, what is that? What is she doing?
I don't know, but it's not good. Like I said, you better let us out of here. Uh-oh. Whoa. Although it may be too late.
So Susie Q points the gun at him and shoots and kills the cop. Just kidding. So they manage to escape, but instead of going to the bank, they have something else up their sleeve. They decided to go to the news station.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of this station through unnamed sources that a serious injustice has been perpetrated upon two of the most beloved citizens of Willow Valley, Russell and Betsy Quinn. And it appears as if there has been a serious effort by the Willow Valley Police Department to aid in preventing these fine people from claiming what is rightfully theirs.
So Zach's happy again, and he decides to join the basketball team that night when they're having a game. So he's able to play, and his mom joins, and also Susie Q's parents are there as well. So after the basketball game, Zach is wondering where Susie Q is, and he finds her at the bridge where she passed away.
Starting. I have to go on.
I know.
After Susie says it's time for her to leave, she gives Zach a big kiss. Zach tries to give Susie her charm bracelet back, but she lets him keep it for good luck. So off in the distance, Susie Q's boyfriend appears, and she heads to the car. And in the backseat, the grandfather pops up and is like, "What am I doing here?" And anyways, I thought that part was kind of funny. But this part really breaks my heart. I'm tearing up just watching this right now, but it has a happy ending, I think. So in the near future, Zach is at school and he hears this voice and it sounds really familiar. It sounds like Susie Q.
My first day at school, and I've already made a complete fool of myself. Jeepers.
Jeepers?
Hi, I'm Maggie.
This is honestly my favorite part of the movie. The fact that Susie Q gets reincarnated and meets Zach again makes me so happy. I know it's just a movie, but I bet you they end up together. Anyways, comment down below what you thought about this movie. Do you remember this film at all being on Disney Channel? And what do you think about it? Comment down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.